The College Baseball Experience World Series Picks episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Yes, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the College Baseball Experience. College World Series Picks. Holy shit. Yes, it's February 12th. And we're giving you gems. We got odds coming out here. I feel like earlier and earlier. The sport of college baseball is growing. And you can help make it grow by subscribing to the College Baseball Experience and also checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. If you're watching right now, you get to see a couple stupid faces, and I'm one of them. All right, look, if you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Oh, you gotta love it. The one sport ends. The NFL ended yesterday. I cashed my Chiefs -2 and the under 47.5. Now we go seamlessly right into baseball as we got college basketball happening. The world's great. All right. I feel sorry for anyone that doesn't like sport because there's money to be made, but also we love just everything. The atmospheres in Knoxville, to Starkville, to Stanford, even because it provides us humor.
It provides us Texas misery too. If you remember last year, them dropping the fly ball.
That is true. Out. That was fantastic.
They joined the Arkansas club. Sorry to all the Hogs.
Certainly. I mean, it's just a great sport. It's one of the more undercovered sports in all of America, and we're changing that. We are changing that. Look, I remember in kindergarten or third grade or something, I got suspended or some shit like that. And principal sat me down. Actually, I did have a little, actually it was fourth grade. I had a trapper keeper. I was running a little bit of a book, and see, these fools kept betting against Jordan in the playoffs, and old Colby was up 45 clams, right? Well, I got suspended and eventually expelled, I believe, because I brought it back once. But I remember vividly sitting with my principal, and she's saying, "Colby, here at this institution, we want to make leaders, and you are a follower, right?" And I say, "Well, the tables have turned because I do believe we are."
It's easy to see a tide turn
the way here by being ahead of the curve. I mean, I don't feel like there's a lot of college baseball content out there, and we're leading the way here. So I wish I had her email address. Yes,
we've always said it from the get-go that we're just a couple of idiots that like to put our picks out there in the public. Colby, definitely an idiot. Me, I'm an idiot that I think I can find some odd numbers, and I think I'm smart, but I'm still an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the principal did pigeonhole that one correctly, but for me, being I feel like when she left the office for a second to talk to the secretary, she's like, "That guy's a fucking idiot," and might have heard that, might not have, but either way, I'd still look. She's lucky that I can't remember her name, because I would DM her this fucking episode and say, "Look at me now, all right? I'm sitting out hanging out in my bedroom, recording college baseball episodes. I'm not even at the SGPN studio. All right. I'm fucking around, folks. Look,
yeah, he's fucking around. He's in the studio, not the bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. I have the studio in the house. How about that? Huh? How about that? I even got, how about this? Got a limited edition 1993 Colby Dant card. Huh?
When that flimsy camera falls, they can all see the cloth on top of your table with all the college logos.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right. All right. I got stuff for days. How about this? Actually, hold on. What's it? We can go off the beaten path. He's
ready to show off all his bobbleheads too.
What do we got here? What do we got here? Unopened. Wow. It's okay.
Save it for card opening YouTube.
Yes.
You can make a ton of money.
If you're listening to this on the audio side, I'm just killing it over here. And I also randomly have a hammer. All right. That's just in case the zombies come. That's in case the zombies come. But folks, look, I am joined by my co-host. He is the brains behind the college baseball experience. He played college baseball himself. See me, I'm just a clown over here. This guy actually played the game. He knows the game. And yeah, I mean, he's the muscle behind the college baseball experience. So give it up for the LeBaron backseat driving, wine cooler having Noah Bieniek. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, Colby? I'm excited for this one. This episode is the one that everybody comes back to. In the middle of the season, at the end of the season, they come back to clip whether you're right or wrong. Hopefully I'm the one clipping it when I'm right, but I know if I'm giving out 8 picks, 7 of them have to be wrong. 1 of them is going to be right. So let's fucking go, dude. I'm excited.
And
Oscar Robles, I warmed some benches for the Point Park Pioneers. Currently top 25.
Shout out Point Park Pioneers.
Yeah, currently top 25 team in the NCAA. We were when I was there as well. You know, I was picking needles out of my ass, but he opened the pack and there was gum.
This is
Willis in the YouTube chat asked if there was gum in his baseball card pack.
It is broken up. It did not make it together, but it is this. So I have one opened. I have one unopened. This is from 1990. How do you think this holds up? Should I do this?
No. No. Willis hits on -300 for you eating gum too.
It's like powder. It's like powder.
I mean, all gum, all of that pink gum is for baseball.
Well, it's a little bad. It's one bad. It's not
Chat's
that bad.
loving
That's
this,
bad.
you know.
It's bad.
Great.
It's bad.
We had the chat comment cover that up. Unfortunately,
it's a little bad.
Throwing that.
It's a little bad. Didn't
Capper said that had to taste like ass.
It's a little powdery.
We might have to restart the show.
No, it's okay.
Go back.
Okay.
Colby's not going to be able to take it.
I just need to get this flavor out of my mouth real quick. Hang on, but let's talk college baseball, buddy.
Dude, I'm excited. Yeah, so what we're doing today is we're going to run through our Omaha 8 picks. We're going to start right off the bat, jump into the fire, give out our 8 teams that we predict are going to the College World Series in Omaha. Then I'm going to sprinkle in a couple of long shots that I unfortunately couldn't fit into my Omaha 8. Then we're going to talk about some Golden Spikes picks and then some conference outrights. We have done 3 conference previews, going to do a 4th with the Big 12. Moneyline Mac from the Big 12 College Experience is going to join us tomorrow for a Big 12 conference preview. But we're going to hit on some of the smaller ones and just talk about our opinions on the markets and then finish off with the SEC win totals that we took. Some of the lines have moved. You'll get our updated opinion on them. If we'll still take them. The hint is yes, we are. So we're just going to review on what we have currently placed in the preseason this season. So excited for the episode.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Let's jump into this because like I said, am I crazy to think that there's just way more out there by February 12th than say
last year?
Yeah.
100%. We had a lot of conference outrights drop 2 days before the season began last year. So I've actually had time to handicap some of it this year. Truth be told, I think it was a lazy job in releasing a lot of the odds. Like a lot of the favorites are like minus money. I ain't laying minus money on a conference outright for 5 months of the year. So that's just not how you're going to get my money. Of course, I'm a broke college kid still paying off student loans. So everybody's different. That's just not the way that I'm attacking it. And honestly, we'll talk a little bit about it on the futures that I'm placing for the College World Series. I kind of use the same philosophy. I go big or I go home.
And Willis is asking what books out there. Now, we're not sponsored by a book this week. So
thank God, because we can give out the best price.
We can tell you now.
Yeah. So DraftKings is usually the best when it comes to game lines. And shout out to them. They've already released game lines for opening day. I tweeted out my 3 favorites that I'm like, this line's going to move like ASAP. Whenever they take enough money on it, it's going to be gone. So check out my Twitter, Noah B77_ to get those 3. I doubt they'll be there by tomorrow morning. So DraftKings is the best when it comes to game lines. Bet Rivers is the best when it comes to just all the conference outrights. They have the SEC win totals.
I don't get. Sorry.
So no, you're good. I mean, they've got all the conference outrights, all the SEC win totals. They got Golden Spikes. They've got Omaha appearance betting odds, and just regular old College World Series champion odds. FanDuel's got College World Series appearance and College World Series champion. And then Caesars and BetMGM just have College World Series champion, but they do sprinkle in game lines throughout the season. Same with all 5 of them. But yeah, that's typically how my attack disperses.
There we go. And yes, Cannabis Capper. Shout out to Cannabis. And he's asking 30-year-old gum versus new wine cooler, which tastes worse? You know, the gum, the problem is it just didn't turn into gum. It was just powder. It's like the best comparison I could say would be like powdered milk. You ever had powdered milk? That's where it was it never formed as a solid. Unfortunately. So, look, folks out there, maybe you have some better 30-year-old gum you want me to try. Hit me up on Twitter at Colby Dant. But let's jump into this and appreciate the chat rocking along. Once again, youtube.com/the college experience. So our Omaha 8 picks, and we have odds on these. February 12th. Shout out to Lord. That.
So yeah, we'll list or like say, hey, the best odds you can get, you find them here, obviously. So.
Well, I mean, to me, the no-brainer here.
Start us off.
Look, if you have a lit environment, which they do,
and they can host home games throughout the NCAA tournament for those that are new.
Yes.
Until you get to Omaha.
You have a lit environment. You have a legendary coach who hasn't, gotten the big one. And to me, you have a team that is pretty put together, like everyone coming back. That's what perfect remedy I think you're looking for. And when I see the odds, it's not amazing odds, but still plus 125. And I believe Dave Van Horn is due. And that is why I have the Arkansas Razorbacks as my top play. As my first. This one makes the most sense to me. Yeah.
Your number 1 team in Omaha.
Yes. They just have a loaded roster too, and their rotation with Hagen Smith and Brady Tigert and Mason Molina, great name, and he's due. We've seen this before with legendary coaches. They finally get that one. I think it's potentially this year. He's been there a long time, and everything seems to be coming together. Your thoughts on my Razorbacks? At plus 125. 11 to 1, by the way.
Yeah, I actually have the Arkansas Razorbacks in Omaha myself. They're my 3rd favorite team to get there. They're 11 to 1 to win it all. And this is a common theme for me. I don't think there's a world beater this year. Last year, I thought LSU was like head and shoulders above everybody. But the price was insane that I didn't really want to lay. Like I think they were plus 650 last year. Memory recalls that was the best price you could find in the preseason market. This year, though, I don't think that there's a team like that. And personally, I want to see the teams play before I lay money on them to win the entire national championship. Get to the College World Series, that's a little bit different. Normally, preseason rankings have been quite accurate in predicting 5 to 6 of them from the top 10. and then it gets crazy from there. So yeah, I have Arkansas in there as well. In my opinion, for my money, the 3 pitchers that you named their weekend rotation, it's the most talented and also experienced weekend rotation coming back. And they also hit on a couple of guys in the transfer portal to spice up this offense, to add some power to it, because they're going to be fast. They're going to be more contact than anything. But Vahiva Aloy, I am told that it's pronounced with a V. His name starts with a W, but he comes in from Sacramento State. And then Jack Wagner is the Tarleton State transfer, I believe, and he's got a ton of pop too in his bat. So Arkansas is going to be able to hit for power, hit for average, and they're going to be a power pitching staff that can shut down almost any offense in the country. That's why I like the Hogs to get to Omaha too. Your second pick, College World Series.
Yes, my second pick. I mean, I'm just going to play a little clip.
The best looking man, the best dressed man, long limousines, jet airplanes, custom made clothes, and any woman in the world I want, just like that.
Look, if there was one team to describe in college baseball that's the closest, the most accurate to the nature boy, Ric Flair, it's staying in the SEC and going with GBO Farms' Tennessee Volunteers. Look, first off, 20-1 to make the College World Series, plus 165.
No, 20-1 to win the College World Series.
What did I say? What did I say?
To make it, I think.
Okay, sorry. To win. Look, I think this team, I was on them last season when they knocked off the Clemson Tigers. I know you were on Clemson and talked a little shit about that.
They pissed.
What's
pissed
that?
on me. They pissed on my face.
Yes,
I think we talked about it last show.
Tony Vitello has led Tennessee to Omaha, in 2 of the last 3 years, and the one year that he didn't, Tennessee's, they broke the country's regular season win record. So the offense absolutely reloaded in the transfer portal. We hit on that on the SEC preview. And really, I guess the one question mark is the pitching. But I think they got that. What's that guy? Drew Beam.
Yeah, that's their Friday night starter.
Oh yeah. We're gonna load up on him.
Last year, 9-4, 363 ERA, 88 strikeouts in 84 innings, 17 games started. He started every game for him last year. He's been very consistent throughout his first 2 years in Rocky Top.
And we're high on their schedule, right?
Yes.
The schedule's fantastic.
They barely hit the road. They get a tremendous draw in the SEC conference. They have a
great home
environment. So they're going to be a top 8
yeah.
team in the country. They're going to host probably a regional and a super regional. So yeah, we're both on Tennessee here. I have the Vols too. I think the lineup's fucking stacked. You got Cannon Peebles transferring in from NC State, Billy Amick, who hit .413 for Clemson. And it's he kind of came off the bench halfway through the year for the Tigers last year. So he transfers in from Clemson to play third base. So those are 2 power bats that they added. They bring back, or not really bring back, but those 2 transfer bats along with Blake Burke and Christian Moore, that makes it 4 total bats that hit double-digit home runs last year. And they've got 6 bats that hit 295 or better throughout the season. So love Tennessee's offense. I believe in the pitching staff. Both AJ Russell and AJ Causey, top SP2, SP3 here. Causey's got a funky angle that he throws from. So it's going to trick up some teams. And I think that's good enough as a Sunday starter to get them to Omaha. So Tennessee, I listed them as my 5th favorite team to get to Omaha here.
So you're disagreeing. Well, here's the obvious one though.
We're agreeing. We're getting them to Omaha.
Yeah. I mean, I just had them higher. But yeah, get them to Omaha and their fans are going to perform well. That Arkansas and Tennessee, if they make it to Omaha, their fans strong favorites to win the Jello Shot Challenge, right? But if this team makes it, I'm just going to go ahead and say they're going to win the fucking Jello Shot Challenge. All right. And I'm referring to my East Carolina Pirates, 50-1 to win it all, plus 500 to make it to the College World Series. Let's fucking go.
There was nothing that we couldn't do. We set out to defend our name, and now we'll never be the same. Never be the same. 'Cause we believe.
We do believe, and we believe this is the year. A lot of people thought last year. I think it's this year. Cliff Godwin's squad is, look, they're a blue collar baseball team full of grinders at the plate. And they have one of the nation's best defenses. And look, they returned 6 hitters from last year's lineup that all averaged over 288. And don't forget about the ace, Trey Yesovich. I always fuck that name up.
He's a savage. He's savage.
Dude, I'm assuming they're in your list. If not, we should probably end the show right now.
To all the listeners that, just happen to tune into the show, I apologize for my co-host here who just happens to be a fan of the Gonzaga basketball of college baseball. That's just what they are.
We'll see.
They're a big tease. I've fallen for it the first year that we did this show. Last year I said no, I'm not doing it, and this year I'm not doing it either.
Last year they were getting the hype. This year they're not getting the hype as much.
They're ranked 11th by D1 baseball. They're ranked in the top 25 by almost everybody. They made a mistake.
They got to they got to take off one of those ones.
In my opinion, Cliff Godwin's he's had better teams. I believe that he's going to get them into a regional, maybe possibly into a super regional, but they're the Gonzaga basketball.
Well, if you want to make money, you roll with Dundee. All right. If you want to sit there and be boring over there, it's LeBaron driving son of a bitch. All right. No, dude, they're due. This is the year because no one's seen it coming. Let's go.
I feel like everybody expects like East Carolina to, they're just waiting on it to happen, not really expecting it to. They're waiting. They're a perfect comparison to Gonzaga basketball. So, good luck, my friend.
Gonzaga made the national championship twice,
and they haven't won one. I mean, these guys haven't even made it to Omaha yet. So.
That's what I'm saying. Well, we don't really like Nebraska, so we'll go. But I mean, it's boring. It's a little boring. You know what I mean? So it's okay.
Oh shit!
And
you guys would probably boycott the Jello shots too. You just probably hit up some other random bar.
Well, they're kind of
we're not
a
doing
big
the
Jello
Jello.
shot guy. We're more of a straight cheap
beers.
cheap vodka. Cheap
anything
vodka
that
shots,
you can find in the parking lot,
whiskey shots, whippets outside the park. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of shrooms.
If I get offered, I've always said I'll drink whatever you've got. If I get offered a plastic bottle out of a water bottle in the jungle at East Carolina, Clark LeClaire,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna drink it. I'm not gonna have any idea what's in there. I might not be alive the rest of the day.
No, you'll be alive. You'll wake up and look. This has happened to me plenty of times. One time I woke up in the mulch. There was like a game of basketball going on. It was like 10 in the morning. I wake up and I'm like, I got mulch all over me. But see, these guys are playing a nice game of basketball. What happened last night? Not really sure. But yeah, people look out for you. This is a slam dunk play here. Next up for me.
No, for me, because I need to name a third team here. We need to play fair, Colby.
Sorry.
This team I actually have as my second favorite team to get to Omaha. I'd actually probably list them as my favorite team to get to Omaha if I wasn't such a pussy and just give in to Wake Forest because their pitching depth is insane. I'm falling for this Florida team this year. I'm falling in love with the Florida Gators. Big surprise to a lot of the listeners.
His favorite team. He gives me shit for taking ECU, and then he plays his favorite team.
The third picks were for the homer picks. Okay. I really like this Florida team. So they hit on a transfer, or they hit on 2 transfers. They're bringing in their shortstop for this season, Colby Shelton. who's slimmed down. He's going to be able to play the position pretty well. He played third base last year for Alabama, I think he's going to be able to play shortstop pretty well for the Gators this year. We've never really had a tremendous defensive shortstop under O'Sullivan as of recent. And he hit 25 bombs in his freshman year. He's going to have plenty of protection in the lineup. I'm not worried about him. We also bring in Brody Donay from the transfer portal from Virginia Tech. He hit 12 bombs. He only had 142 plate appearances last year. And we're not even talking about Jack Caglione, who can do it on both sides of the ball, both pitching and hitting. First baseman, left-handed hitter. Yeah, first baseman, left-handed hitter, 33 home runs last year, led the country in bombs. Also, Luke Heyman had double-digit bombs. Cade Curlin, the second baseman, had double-digit bombs his freshman year as well. I'm betting on this team to not really have many sophomore slumps because there's still so much talent in the lineup surrounding them. And then getting to the pitching staff here, I really, really like Liam Peterson. He's a freshman coming in, and he has been tremendous. Like, we've seen stat lines fly out from him as of recent. 5 innings, 0 runs, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts. He's been really, really good against a very good offense. And Jack Caglione's going to once again be the Sunday starter, not because he's the third best starting pitcher, but I think O'Sullivan likes having the two-way guy be able to play first base on Friday, Saturday, and then be able to pitch on Sunday with not having to play in the field with a tired arm after throwing 90 pitches the day before. So last season, he was 7-4 with 87 strikeouts and 75 innings. Then we're going to probably have Cade Fisher either fill in on Fridays or Saturdays. He was from the bullpen last year. He finished the year 6-0, 3.10 ERA. This pitching staff, once again, is going to be solid. They have Brandon Neely, the SEC saves leader from last season, and Ryan Slater out of the bullpen too, ready to go. So I really like Florida. If there was one team that I said not really any holes, it's the Gators.
It's his favorite team, fellas. Gals, girls, whatever.
I'm high on them.
No, they are good.
I like them.
They are good. Clearly, they were good a year ago, but sometimes
Do you have them in your...
you get that hype. You get that hype. Of course not.
What are we doing here?
I know you're a favorite team. I'm never gonna put your look. I have a rule. I have a bunch of older brothers. You never take their fucking teams. All right, that's just a rule. So yeah,
wow.
It's like with Moneyline Mac. You think I'm gonna take West Virginia? No. Jumping.
Right, so I'm planning on being in Omaha this year. I'm not going to speak for yourself. You just have a newborn. However, if I'm in Omaha, you're not, or if you are in Omaha, I'll buy you something, whatever you want. And it goes the same for you. Like if Florida gets there and East Carolina's not, I mean, best case scenario, these two are coming in from the opposite sides of the bracket and we can square off in the final.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if we'll have a St. John's basketball bet here.
Yeah, and we don't need any of your NIL blood money that they got in the SEC. All right.
Oh, East Carolina is using whatever NIL they have on baseball. Trust me.
I think it's football, probably.
I think a lot of it, a chunk of it, at least a chunk of it's going to baseball.
I don't know how much chunks there are out there.
Neither do I.
Vince McMahon hasn't donated like he should. All right.
He's also in trouble now, so hopefully he can get out of trouble and then donate. Right?
Yeah, he needs to. Folks, I want to tell you that the college baseball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Look, Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. They got NBA, NHL, and college basketball. Simply pick higher or lower in your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. You can win 100 times the amount of money you enter with some of their spicy plays. So what are you doing, folks? Watch along, make picks, and maybe make a little extra cash on Underdog's mobile app or website, UnderdogFantasy.com. When you sign up, make sure you sign up with the promo code TCESGPN, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. Once again, that's Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back on the college baseball experience and
your fourth Omaha team. Go ahead.
Well, let's stick with someone that knows a thing or two. All right, and from one ECU guy to another ECU guy, I'm going with the Clemson Tigers. 28-1 to win the championship, plus 230 to get to the College World Series. And you might know that Eric Bakich, their head honcho over there in Clemson. He's an East Carolina grad, so I will. I'm sorry. No. Clemson, I think, is due. You saw last season, a heartbreaking loss. I mean, the suspension nonsense that happened. And then you add in Canarella. Good God, I can't even fucking talk. And Will Taylor, former two-sport athlete there, played some football. Who they're raving about him as a potential to have a breakout year. I think the Clemson Tigers are going to be back in Omaha, the first time in 14 years. So load up on them Clemson Tigers. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I love this one. This is my biggest position in the preseason, actually. Personally, I think it's like when they get into a super regional. Currently in the preseason, they don't have an ace, I would say. They're hoping that either Austin Gordon's the ace, who was the Friday night starter last season entering the year, or Ethan Darden could be the ace, who finished the last season as the Friday night starter, or Tristan Smith, who's getting a lot of buzz here in the preseason, as he could mold into the Friday night starter going into the season or throughout the season, or it could be Matthew Marshall, who has been one of the top starting pitchers in the SoCon every year. I'm hearing his stuff is mostly flat. He'll be an experienced reliever for Clemson, which they have plenty of. They returned 6 of their top 7 relievers from last season, or 6 of their top 7 most used relievers. I'm very high on this team once again. And they play the type of ball that's going to win in Omaha should they get there. They're not going to be a team that hits a ton of long bombs. They're going to be a team that they'll hit it. If they get a hold of it, they can put it out of the park, but they'll like to play in the ballpark. We heard Will Massa talk about it on the ACC preview. They have plenty of speed. They were like top 5 in the country in stolen bases last year. They're going to run the bases like madmen. This team's going to cause havoc when they get on the base paths. And like you mentioned, that power duo in the outfield of Cam Canarella and Will Taylor. I am going to like this duo once again this year. I liked them last year. Will Taylor, as a two-sport athlete, batted .361 last year while he was playing football. This year he's not playing football. I like to think that he's probably going to benefit a little bit from having a full off season of just, playing ball. So, yeah, I'm very high on this Clemson team. I think they got the pitching depth to get there. They need an ace, though. They need a dude that can go out there on day one in Omaha and win them a game. But like I said, my biggest preseason position on them to win the College World Series. I don't really love the College World Series appearance price at plus 230, mainly because it's a short price. You can get that at pretty much the same price come tournament time in the beginning of June. So if you want them to just get to Omaha, wait till June. But on DraftKings right now, you can get them at 28-1. Earlier on, I tweeted out DraftKings was kind of late to the game in releasing a lot of the odds. Bet Rivers and MGM had College World Series champion odds out the day that D1 Baseball released their rankings. I got them at 30-1. I tweeted that out. A lot of people got it because that got bet down to 18-1, 20-1, 25-1 on a lot of books. And then Circa came out super late with their odds like a week and a half ago. And I had Kramer place a 40-1. So I doubled down on Clemson to win it all. Mainly because I don't think a lot of teams have question marks this year. Clemson's got their fair share of question marks, but also I think the teams ahead of them do as well. Last year, we didn't expect much of Clemson. They become the 4th ranked team nationally in the NCAA tournament. Eric Bakich, he took Michigan to the College World Series finals when, they don't even put much money into the baseball program, much attention into the baseball program. Now he's got all these resources, all this money from NAL to work with at Clemson, which used to be a college baseball blue blood. They haven't been to Omaha since 2010. I think this is the year they do it, and I think that they got a chance to win it all.
Ooh, load up on those Tigers. So we agree on what, 3 of the 4 so far.
So far, what we've listed off.
And now you better believe me see if I can find a little clip for us here. Because
nice Beaver.
I'm going with the Oregon State Beavers. All right, look, they're a fucking great program. They're a great program. I think what's happening to Oregon State and Washington State is criminal. I really do. And I think they're going to have a chip on their shoulder too, because they know they've always been good. But I think they're going to have a big chip on their shoulder this year as they're getting left behind by all these big money bullshit. And they might have the number one pick. They might have the number one pick in Travis Bazana. So Bazana, I think it is. And he's going to lead a roster full of talent that includes 6 players that hit over 300 last season. And 5 of them hit double-digit home runs. I am loading up on the boys in Corvallis. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Don't you sling some shit in here about my boys.
This team has grown on me in the preseason so far. I mean, you can go back to the Pac-12 conference preview and you can hear me say or just talk about this team in a little bit of doubt. Yes, the angle is perfect with Oregon State to just make a statement. This is going to be the last sporting event of the calendar year. Oregon State winning it and then saying fuck you to the NCAA and the big money programs would be the best storyline in all of sports. And that's why I've sprinkled on them to do that exact thing.
Oh yeah, let's go.
So
let's go.
They're my second of 3 sprinkles to win it all. Yes, there are some question marks with this team as well. This is another team that I don't think has an established ace. The guy they're wanting it to be is Aiden May, who can throw high 90s fastballs. Last year, he had a 6.33 ERA with Arizona, though. I think he's going to benefit because he was pitching. His home park was a launch pad. I mean, Arizona, dry air, dry air in the desert, balls fly in Tucson. So he is immediately, I think, stepping into a better situation. And, you know, another year, sophomore to junior year jump, it could be, he could develop into an ace. Also, Jacob Kmatz, I'm a big believer in. Last year, he had a sophomore slump season. And then Jaron Hunter, who was hurt right before they played in the Baton Rouge regional last year. So I like Oregon State. They're going to be coming out with an attitude here. You have to, I mean, you know that. I mean, they bring back a ton of experience in the bullpen. And you mentioned it with the lineup. I really like the lineup. Gavin Turley, his freshman year, he hit a wall probably going into like April and then turned it back on in late May, early June. I think he's going to be a baller this season for the Beavers as well. Same with Brady Casper. He hit 304 with a slug in the 950s. And double-digit bombs. This Beavers team is going to be really good. And we talk about it. The West Regional, I mean, they're called regionals in the NCAA tournament. They're going to draw whoever comes out of the WCC, a 2 or 3 seed out of the Big West. Usually it just is what it is. It's a little bit of a weaker side in the regional bracket. If they can win the regional, then host the super regional. You have to love the path for Oregon State. It's a strategy that I like to use when picking these College World Series futures, because if you can pick out a weakish regional in the United States, it's an easier path to get to Omaha.
Nice Beaver.
Love Oregon State.
Let's ride the Beavs. All right. I'm glad we agree there. All right. And then, you know, they did win it all last year. I got to give some respect to the name of the LSU Tigers. I just think this team, I know they lost a ton, right? But Jay Johnson, his offense has always hit the shit out of the ball. All right. I know there's some question marks because they lost so much. Paul Skeen's gone. So many other players gone. Yeah. So
Gavin Dugas, just a lot of their team.
Tommy White returns, and watch out that with him. That's all. That might be all you need. All right, let's go. No, I just think I can't fade a team. I trust Johnson. Like I trust, historically what he does. So, and I thought we were I thought the schedule wasn't, I mean, it's still a gauntlet because it's in the SEC, but I still thought it had some nice breaks, I thought. So, give me the LSU Tigers. They are plus 135. I'm sorry, 135. And plus 800 to make it back to back. Is this a crazy play by me?
No, I don't think it's crazy. I personally don't have LSU in just because they have a lot of new pieces, and I have to see them play personally to end up putting money on them or just picking them to get to Omaha. I like the pick though. I'm high on the pitching staff that is relatively unproven, and also there's a lot of talent in the lineup that is relatively unproven. This could be striking gold or swinging or striking out on a defending national champion. I mean, the last two defending national champions didn't even make the NCAA.
Yeah.
That's why I have some hesitation here, just because that's a wild ass trend. And going into the year, there was a little bit of doubt for me with Ole Miss. I didn't really have that same doubt for Mississippi State. And they fell flat on their face mainly because a couple of injuries for both teams in that case. But yeah, I'm just not bought in all the way on LSU. They were on the fringe. They were the first team that I left out. But yeah, didn't quite make it for me.
We'll see. We'll see about that in Florida. All right.
So I'm going to take you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take you to my fourth favorite team to actually get to Omaha. We've listed, I think, 5 teams each. You just listed your 6th. This is my fourth favorite to get there, and it's TCU, the Horned Frogs. Shout out to the Lupton Drinking Club. They were sitting in here earlier in the chat. They broke some news today that I'll talk about here. Peyton Tolley is going to be the Friday night starter. He's a two-way, borderline superstar if he breaks out here in Power Conference baseball. Last year with Wichita State, he only hit .311 with 13 bombs, 50 RBI. He's a really good hitter. You put him in a lineup surrounded with talent like TCU has. They bring back Carson Bowen, Curtis Byrne, Anthony Silva on a team that was they started the year off well. They slumped in the beginning of the Big 12. They had a lot of freshmen.
They were a fun watch last year. They
got really hot late in the season. And I don't think it's a fluke because we saw some flashes early on in the year. They bring in Peyton Chatagnier in the transfer portal as well from Ole Miss. That's championship DNA. He was there with the 2022 team. He was a starting infielder. I think he was shortstop or second baseman. He's projected to play second base here because Anthony Silva, who was a freshman last year, hit .330. He's going to play shortstop for them. Cole Klecker, the returning Friday night guy, is going to move to Saturday. That shows you how much they like Peyton Tolley here. Cole Klecker was 10-4 with a 3.72 ERA. He's a pitch to contact guy. They have a big park down there in Lupton, and Omaha's a big park, so his stuff is going to play in Omaha as well. And Peyton Tolley, 9-3 with Wichita State, 4.62 ERA. He had 97 strikeouts and 85.2 innings. Then they also get Ben Hampton in the transfer portal from West Virginia, an experienced left-handed pitcher in the Big 12. He's going to be a huge piece. And my favorite piece probably of them all, I'm actually happy that he's not really starting. I think they were trying to get him into the starting rotation, but Ben Abel, wicked kind of sidearm slot, 3/4. He was nasty to finish off the year. He was a huge piece for them to make their Omaha run. I think TCU does it again because it was not a fluke. So, yeah, we've got one team remaining. Sorry. So your 8th team.
I know you piggybacked on a couple of my plays, but you didn't go on ECU. But I will say, the more you talk, the more I might be buying into me changing my order and saying, TCU perhaps over my final team, but I'm not there yet. But right now, let's go to Wake Forest. All right, because
so this is your 7th team. Sorry.
Yes,
so you got 2 teams.
But I think TCU I like now to replace my 8th team. The more you talked about them, the more I liked what you were saying there. So credit to you, buddy. But yeah, I think Wake is loaded, and if you can't get it done this year, man, I mean,
the window's open.
Yes,
it's not going to be open very long.
And come on, Wake Forest, you got to capitalize on this. Your basketball and football team haven't been much. I mean, I know Dave Clawson's a great coach of football, but and basketball is getting better. Maybe they make the tournament this year, but you would like to see some part of your athletic department succeed. It could be right here. Wake Forest is a team that I think roster wise and experience wise could really go deep this year. So I like taking a shot on Wake Forest in the ACC. Plus 125, and then to win it all plus 750. I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah, I had Wake Forest earlier. I've been pretty lazy, I guess, listing the prices on some of the teams. TCU, which you didn't have or beat me to the punch, and then I've come in second on a couple of the teams. TCU is 21 to win it all. You can find that on DraftKings. Also on DraftKings plus 130 to get to Omaha. So your 8th and final team. Go ahead, Colby.
Well, this is what I was saying. Like, I'm going to say, I think I might be sold on TCU being in the mix more than this team, but I went with a long shot here. Well, I like it. I went with the USC Trojans. I feel like a long time ago, they used to be awesome. And their entire weekend rotation returns from last season, along with 7 everyday hitters from last year's team that, they definitely had what they deem as a bad draw by the selection committee, basically passing on them. I think that adds to motivation. And then you add in the fact that USC, I know they're not playing their games on home campus all season long because their stadium's being remodeled. So they might get, used to playing in the
beat
neutral.
Up a little bit on the road. Take some lumps and bruises.
But I actually think that can make you stronger for later. So I'm all over USC here. A little bit of a long shot, but let's ride.
Dude, I like it. I actually have a sprinkle on them to get to Omaha myself. We're going to do a long shots section here after our top 8 picks. USC was in it for me. I mean, we did that Pac-12 preview. We were both high on the Trojans. 29-1 to get to Omaha. And that's a good point from you. Like, they're going to be used to playing on the road the entire year. That's not going to phase them in the NCAA tournament. So,
I mean, look, it's going to suck. Like, their record might suffer a little bit in the regular season, but like, if there's one team, like by the time that comes around, you say, no, this is no big deal for us. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the perfect mentality. So yeah, I have a sprinkle on USC to get there. That's one of my 4 sprinkles on, or 4 teams that I'm like, hey, they've got a shot to get to Omaha, just to get there. One team that I think they have a shot to get to Omaha, I think they got a shot to win the whole damn thing. For those that aren't on Twitter or don't follow 11.7, they're a very good college baseball Twitter profile. Both Ben Upton and Dimitri Curtis do great things with it. They tweeted out, a mid-major has won the College World Series every 8 years. This is a trend that goes back about 40 years. There was one break in between. I think it was the year 2000 where it didn't happen, but 2008, it happened. 2016, it was Coastal Carolina. 2024, I think it's Northeastern, the Huskies. I think they have a shot to take down the entire thing. We talked about it.
I have one.
Well, it's East Carolina. You mentioned.
Well, let's talk about Northeastern, buddy.
Yeah,
Fire.
We talked about it. I like to attack the regions that are weakest. Northeastern, I think, has a legit Omaha club in a Northeast region, of course, and they're then the Boston area. who's up there this year? Boston College isn't going to really live up to anything. Honestly, like they're going to get in their regional. I think they can even host a regional this year. The CAA is really good. They've got 4 teams that they got Campbell this year, who's new to the conference.
They were fun last year. Yeah.
They got Charleston. Those 3 teams are going to be really good, and they're going to bolster up this resume for Northeastern. And I think they can climb into the top 16. We've seen UConn do that before in the Northeast. I think it's Northeastern this year. They win the regional. They hopefully get a good draw in the super regional. Mac's going to say, you're going to make me pick Northeastern every game now too. Hey, plus 160 at Arizona, game 1. I've already bet it.
I like that play, but I mean, they need to start their football program back up before I respect them. But yeah, continue.
Northeastern, their rotation was 4th in the country in ERA last year. They bring back Avon Cabral, their ace. He was 9-4 with a 2.58 ERA, 69 strikeouts, 83.2 innings. Again, his stuff plays in big ballparks. They also bring back Wyatt Scotty, who's a red-shirted senior. He was 6-4 last year, 3.91 ERA, 15 starts. He also pitches to contact, 57 strikeouts, 76 innings. And they bring back a shitload of experience. Jake Gigliotti from last year, red-shirted senior as well, 8-0, 3.24 ERA, 65 strikeouts and 66 innings. And then Charlie Walker was a reliever last year that pitched well. Honestly, Northeastern's pitching staff is going to be very good. They have a ton of talent there, but they honestly have possibly 2 first-round draft picks in this starting lineup. Mike Sirota this year is getting talks about being a top 10 pick in the 2024 MLB draft. He batted .346 with an OPS over 1,000 last year, 18 home runs, 44 stolen bases in 49 attempts. And then the guy that kind of lives in his shadow and also benefits from a guy that is being looked upon so highly, he can just kind of go about without much expectation on him. Cam Maldonado. His freshman season last year batted .353 with an OPS over 1,000, 13 bombs, 14 RBI, and 30 stolen bases. This is a 5-tool ball club that can hit for power, pitch very well, as their ERA was top 5 in the country last season. I'm very high on this team once again as they return 5 guys that batted over 300 from last season. It's a very good lineup. They benefit from being in a weak regional. I've got them 20-1 to get to Omaha, 200-1 to win the College World Series. That's my third play for the national championship.
You got to take a flyer on that.
Yeah, just sprinkle it. Just put $10 on it.
Even though they're pussies that quit their football program, I still believe you got to take a flyer on that. I like it. What else? What about the Heisman Trophy of college baseball? What about the Golden Spikes Award?
I have a couple other sprinkles that I think a lot of people might like for Omaha real quick.
Sure.
Ranked in the top 20. They're getting slept on certainly by the market. DK, you can find them 90-1 to win the whole thing. I personally like them just to get to Omaha. This is another regional pick. Give me UCSB out of the West. They have one of the top pitching staffs in the entire country. The lineup lacks a little bit, but they returned, I think it was 6 or 7 hitters from their lineup a season ago.
The Gauchos.
I love the Gauchos. I already talked about the sprinkle on USC that I had. I haven't bet this one yet, but I like Florida State. I want to see them first. The Omaha markets are going to be open the entire season. There's going to be time to bet on the Seminoles, but I like the Mike Martin story, Tragic Magic. Link Jarrett played for him with Florida State back in the early 2000s. I think this could be a year that they can get to Omaha as kind of like a sleeper. There's going to be time to bet Florida State. I want to see it from the pitching staff for sure. Their offense is going to be able to play in the ACC. Last one, Troy. The Trojans are a solid mid-major program. They've been building up their facilities, and they've been going to town on the transfer portal. With solid facilities, they've been able to attract some some high major talent to Troy, and they're going to be a player in the Sun Belt this season, right behind Coastal Carolina, who also a lot of people like Coastal this year. I'm not as high on them, though, because their pitching is going to struggle, but they also kind of have a same kind of win it for the coach this year because their coach is retiring after the season. So, yep, that's what I've got for the Omaha Markets. Let's move on to the Golden Spikes Award.
Yes, but before we do that, I want to tell you that the college baseball experience is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Yes, win bigger by betting smarter with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. You can research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN. You get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And we're back on the college baseball experience. Shout out to the chat. Connor Johnson saying, "Give me Georgia Southern out of the Sun Belt." Avetta is in the chat saying, "Florida State Seminoles to do the damn thing." And Connor's also high on the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. Let's talk about the most prestigious trophy in college baseball, the Golden Spikes Award. No brainer. We talked about this earlier. Well, I guess a little bit of a no brainer. I mean, Tommy White, LSU. What am I missing here? What am I missing here, Noah? I mean, this guy, he's on a team that's already got the national credibility by winning a year ago. He's he's the clear alpha of the team. He dislocated his shoulder early last year, and he still finished with a batting average of 377.
Nuts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if he's fully healthy, why should we not sprinkle on Tommy White?
I think it's a solid play. If I had LSU in Omaha, I'd probably have a sprinkle of this on myself. Again, he's one of my favorite players in college baseball. I think I said that on the SEC baseball preview. Yeah, he had an extremely good season. He led the nation in RBIs last year. It's a solid pick from you, Colby. I'm going to take you to see last year. Paul Skeens was the best college pitcher we've seen since Ben Johnson. He broke his record at LSU, and he didn't win the Golden Spikes. This is clearly a player award or a two-way player award. Shout out to Jake Fettner, who was on the college baseball fantasy draft episode. He did some research on the Golden Spikes Award. No player only has hit under 340 and won the award in, I think, the last decade. That was the stat. I could be wrong on it, but so personally, he has already done it once, made it, was nominated as a finalist for this award last year. Give me Jack Caglione. I'm high on the Florida Gators this year. There's plenty of support around him in this lineup. He batted .322, led the country in bombs with 33. And last year he had a .434 ERA with 87 strikeouts and 75 innings. He was solid on the mound, and he was elite at the plate. A two-way player is going to be
this Caglione.
He's going to be a finalist for this award.
My horrible godfather. The respect.
So I think if Caglione has the year that I think he's going to have, only two-way players can beat him. I put a sprinkle on. So Cags is plus 400. He's the betting market favorite.
Well,
honestly,
I don't get.
I view him as, I cringe when outsiders say it. He's the Shohei Ohtani of baseball. But if he truly is, Shohei Ohtani's plus 115 to win the AL MVP last year. He's sub plus 200. I don't know. I haven't even checked his price for the NL MVP this year. He's not pitching, unfortunately, for the year for the Dodgers because he has UCL surgery. But when he was at the elite tier of his two-way athleteness, he was plus 115. I'm getting this guy in college baseball at plus 400. Give me that every day of the week because Shohei ended up winning the MVP that year. The other guy that I'm sprinkling 35 to 1, I already talked about him on this episode. Give me Peyton Tolley. He was at Wichita State, did it two ways, both hitting for power and pitching very well. Last year, like I mentioned, 4.62 ERA. He was 9-3 with the Shockers, 97 strikeouts and 85 innings. That's only going to improve both ERA and record-wise with a top 5 team nationally in the preseason. And as a hitter last season, 311, OPS north of 900, 13 bombs. He's going into his junior season. That's usually when the sophomore to junior power spurt happens. I like Peyton Tolley at 35-1 as a sprinkle because honestly, in my opinion, the only way that you beat a two-way player for the Golden Spikes is being a two-way player for the Golden Spikes. Because I think Cags is the best player in college baseball this year.
Hot take there. Okay, look, let's get some before we get out of here. Let's talk about a little conference outright. My eyes light up when I see Clemson to win the ACC at plus 475 over there at Bet Rivers. I mean, I know Wake's there. I know UVA is always strong, and Duke could be good, and maybe even Carolina or Florida State. But plus 475, load me up on the Clemson Tigers at plus 475, man.
Yeah, I tweeted it out. My only action on the ACC has been, I mean, I got an outstanding price on Wake Forest when the market opened. I got them at plus 200 to win it. Currently, they're minus money. Like a lot of these markets are on Bet Rivers. Personally, I'm not a huge fan. Because yes, favorites usually come through in college baseball for the conferences and going throughout the year. So I like where I sit with Wake Forest, to say the least. I think Clemson is a good sprinkle. I think Duke is a nice sprinkle as well in the ACC to win the conference, but I'm happy with where I sit.
Also, Tennessee plus 750. Come on. With that schedule?
Yeah, it's very favorable.
Well, I don't get.
Let's go. Load up on that.
Yeah. Listen to the SEC win totals preview. We go in depth on the schedule. SEC baseball preview. We talk about it. We preview the team with the Vols. I like Tennessee to win the SEC as well. Also, a shot on Arkansas at, I think they're plus 450 the last time I checked. That's a solid play. And also another team that has a really favorable schedule, and if their pitching staff figures it out, a long shot could be South Carolina and the SEC, in my opinion.
Yeah. Jump in on some of that action. And I mean, we touched on win totals on the SEC, I mean, just on the SEC actually, but
so shout out to Connor Johnson in the chat. I got Oregon State early in the year too. Tweeted this one out when this market opened. It was plus 300. This thing's like minus 115 now. So again, with the Pac-12, I'm happy where I sit outright wise. The Big 12, my favorite was TCU. If there's a team that people are sleeping on, it's West Virginia. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll get into that betting market. But yeah, what Bet Rivers, you can find West Virginia as a dark horse to win the Big 12. And honestly, I didn't find much else that I liked outside of those four conferences. Troy plus 400 to win the Sun Belt is solid. Like I already talked about with them getting to the College World Series, that's a nice play that I think is available. I didn't take it though. 4-1 to win the conference in a conference like the Sun Belt, where I think there's 6 really, really good teams there. There's a lot of players that could challenge to win the conference. So I held off on that. And for that logic as well, when I'm laying minus money, I prefer not to do it over a 5-month span that I'm going to tie up money. So when it comes to conference outrights, I just don't have a ton of action.
All right, folks. Well,
DM me if you want my opinion on some of the other conferences.
At Noah B77_. Give him a follow as well on Twitter. And I'm on Twitter at Colby D. The College Baseball Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Follow away if you may.
Do you want to plug the SEC win totals that we're already sitting on, by the way, before we wrap this show up?
Yes, but also subscribe on YouTube right now. I see a lot of people watching the show. If you can hit the subscribe button on YouTube, that helps us out a ton. YouTube.com/The College Experience. Subscribe. Also, the like button is there for a reason.
We're striving for 10K before March Madness.
Let's go. Get on over there. But yeah, how about some of these win totals that we were talking about?
Yeah. So for me, the one that we moved the market. Colby, congratulations. We did a show last week. A lot of the numbers.
I've been doing it for a long time. It's okay.
It's not a very actionable market. So, I mean, they probably didn't update it until after the Super Bowl had ended. That's my prediction, at least. Tennessee still sits at over 17.5 wins. My projection for them, I've taped my little cocktail napkin for the SEC win totals on the side of my desk. I projected them to come 21-9 to finish the SEC season. Go listen to that episode. I mean, as we're going to talk about the other ones too. So you were on Tennessee, correct?
Yes.
And then I'm low on Vanderbilt. You tailed me on this one. I have them under 17.5 wins. Pitching's good. And it's currently being talked about like it's one of the best pitching staffs in the country. Personally, I don't believe that. And I don't think they have the pieces on the offense to really make this an 18-win team in the SEC. I projected Vanderbilt. I'm super low on them. This is probably the floor because I have them power ranked 9th in the SEC. I have them 13-17. I thought the ceiling wins wise was 16. So me being super low, even if I was being generous and giving them a couple of wins, I still had them 16-14 coming under the total. So you tailed me on that one. What was one of the ones that you also played, Colby?
I mean, I love the Georgia play. Georgia over 10.5 wins. I think the
that one changed as well. So that one was 9.5 when we picked it on the show. It's now 10.5, but you can get it at plus money. We projected Georgia. You projected Georgia to finish with 14 wins.
Yeah.
I projected them to finish with 12 just because I'm low on the roster because there was total turnover, but the schedule is super favorable. So I think how high they can go just depends on how well of a coaching job Wes Johnson did or does. And of course, he did a great one with LSU, getting them to the national championship with the pitching staff they had. And he added 10 miles an hour to Paul Skeens' fastball. So he's basically a magician for the short. Then also I played 4 SEC win totals. My last one was Alabama. I took the under what was 14.5. It's now 13.5. I think it's still solid. Not as good as it once was. I have Alabama finishing with 11 wins and a ceiling of 13. Colby, hit on some of the other ones that you bet.
I'm not buying into the Auburn Tigers, so I hit the under 14.5, not 4.5, 14.5 wins. I mean, Bo Jackson's not walking through that door, folks. And with the recent news coming out of Oxford, I wasn't super bullish on them anyway. I know that they were nasty a few years ago, but
they're going to be without their 2 top starting pitchers, Tommy Elliott and Xavier Rivas.
So you can get plus 100 value at under 11.5 wins. Let's go. And then Missouri Tigers. Come on. I don't need to explain that one. Their baseball program's never relevant. It shouldn't be. So
before we get out of here, let's go through our Omaha 8 one last time. We have these solid graphics that Cameron Kerr made for us here.
Look at
Colby,
that right
run through your Omaha 8 for us. Oh shit,
yes.
This is the wrong graphic that I downloaded. I'll run through mine real quick. I have Wake Forest,
right?
Florida, Arkansas, TCU, and Tennessee, and Clemson, Oregon State, Northeastern. I've personally sprinkled something on Clemson's a little bit more than a sprinkle, I'll be honest, to win the national championship. Oregon State's a sprinkle to win the national championship, and Northeastern's a sprinkle to win the national championship. And I'm adding Colby's in a frantic hurry to get it on to the stream. This is Colby's official Omaha 8. Here we go.
Wake Forest, Oregon State, Arkansas, LSU, Clemson, East Carolina. Now, I think TCU might have been my case over USC. I think it's easy to see that tide turn as
it's easy to see a tide turn.
But I still think USC is a nice play if you want to sprinkle that. So,
and
folks,
then there's everything that I've got action.
Look at these tickets. Look at these tickets.
Yep. Show up the tickets real quick.
Yes.
We'll get out of here. Pause it if you really want
that one. You got the screenshot that one. Do some work, you lazy bastards.
A couple of those lines have moved. So go ahead. Good luck in them. But that's what I'm sorting out. So if you want to root for me, go ahead. But if you want to, root against me,
YouTube.com/the college experience, folks. Subscribe and also view Noah's tickets. Until next time, tomorrow we'll be back with the college baseball experience Big 12 preview, as well as every night we're going live with college basketball. Come on, the road to March Madness. All right, we've been doing this shit for a long time. All right, you're not going to find many other podcasts talking about Chicago State hoops. We talk it all 360 plus. All right.
Alfred 44 says Wake Forest, East Carolina College World Series final. Put a stamp on it so we can go and clip it. Your College World Series final. Who wins?
I mean, don't ask me that question. Don't ask me that question. If I'm not taking my guys
to win over who?
I think it's Arkansas's year, man.
Okay.
I think it's Arkansas's year. But you know what? Since I won't take my guys, Oregon State, Arkansas in the final.
All right. I have Clemson over Florida in the College World Series final.
Love it. Another ECU guy. Nice representing. Folks, we're also back with the college football experience on Wednesdays. We break down the entire Big 12 schedule that just got released for 2024. We've already dropped the ACC preview, or like the schedule breakdown, not the preview. Also the SEC, the new look SEC with Oklahoma and Texas, and same with the Big 28, the new Big 10, essentially, with all those fucking teams, UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon. So check out all of that. We got it covered. Also the FCS college football experience. We went through every offseason coaching change. Maybe you're an FCS fan. All right, get out there, check it out, and check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. We'll be live on VSiN every day this week. VSiN Network, Brent Musburger's network. Check that out. Until next time, folks. This is the college baseball experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here. Run and shoot.